that's what we were practicing this morning with our first stage of avoiding the second arrow, avoiding hitting ourselves with more suffering on top of the pain that we are experiencing because of different challenges that we might have. In this second session, we are going to be working with actually letting go in a more concerted effort. And I didn't want to start with the letting go because it's very important to realize that first we need to settle a little bit with what we are experiencing so that we can witness it, address it, heal it, and transform it. Otherwise, if we just go to the, okay, let's relinquish, we are not yet noticing, well, what is the pain itself? What is the challenge itself? And then what is that I'm adding on top, which would be the second arrow. And that's just so, so important. It's a change of perspective and a change of attitude towards our challenges, and realizing that every challenge is really an opportunity to keep discovering what's really important for us and to keep developing our inner resources by sitting with it. So I want you to remember that part of this 3-step journey that we are journeying together in this workshop. The second step is about letting go of where you are stuck. So it's more practices to really, really let go. And let's start first with the breathing. Let's sit again. So there are 2 breathings that I find very, very useful in this second part. One form of breathing is a Taoist form of breathing that I find myself going to many times, and it's called letting go of the old, taking in the new. So again, to let go of wherever you are stuck. And we all go through this natural first reaction, perhaps, towards things that we don't like. And so the important thing is to catch ourselves and notice, okay, I'm staying with this negative emotion a bit longer than would be its natural life, which usually is more or less brief. I'm not here talking about grief. Grief is something that takes a longer time to process and overcome. But even with grief, at some point, we need to come to terms with our loss and remember that we will not be grieving forever, and at the same time honoring the grief of having lost a very dear person, and then seeing how can I work with this, how can even this be an opportunity to keep growing. Since I'm alive and I have this spirit embodied in me, and I'm in relationship, and there is so many ways in which we influence each other, hearing and heeding to the call of how I can come back from this. And I'm talking about grief because it's one of the really very powerful emotions that we need to honor, and we also need to learn to work to keep moving forward. But with other emotions, like disenchantment or irritability or fear or anger or anxiety, they also have their place. But at some point we can notice, okay, emotion is to move you into new understandings. If you are feeling overwhelmed and it has been going on for quite a long time, then you can realize, well, it seems I'm stuck on this. So how do I'm getting stuck on it, thinking about some person that we don't like, how they are acting, and we wish they would act in a different way, whatever. Okay, it has a little moment. it can be, but if it keeps coming back, one needs to work with it. So the letting go of the old, taking in the new is a great one to work with all these cycles of negativity. Very simple. We are going to inhale through the nose, like sign. It's a chest breathing. Feeling a little bit more of a space in the chest as we inhale. And then we exhale through the mouth, like blowing the air. A long, slow, complete exhalation. Which means the exhalation is going to be longer than the inhalation. When the time comes to inhale, again, we inhale through the nose. And when the time comes to exhale, we exhale, blowing the air through barely parted lips. A long, slow, complete exhalation, inviting the body to relax and inviting ourselves to shed this negative thoughts and emotions, this reactivity we are having. As we breathe in, we breathe new air, fresh opportunity to experience different ways of responding. As we breathe out, we let go of where we are stuck. Again, many studies show the power of the breath to bring the relaxation response. Especially when the exhalation is a longer exhalation accompanied with this invitation of the body to relax. What is that you want to let go of? What is your intention for this session and maybe for this workshop? And what can you invite in your life to help you to move forward as you get unstuck? Three more of these. Letting go of the old, letting go of the tensions, reactivity. With exhale. Drawing in the new inspiration to replenish you. Maybe a gentle smile, your lips, your eyes. Of course, we could do 3 or 4 more. Let's try 3 or 4 more to get more of this letting go and taking in the new. As you exhale, visualize yourself relinquishing what you want to relinquish. And as you inhale, visualize yourself receiving what you are inviting in your life. By bringing your attention and intention, you are really receiving it. So this is a very simple form of breathing. And as you can see, we tend to bring our hands to these vortexes of energy, to our sea of tranquility point, and inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. It's really simple, but really powerful. And there are many studies that show that the longer exhalation sets the relaxation response, and also this bringing the attention and intention into cultivating this space of relinquishing, letting go what sometimes it starts in the mind but then gets somehow stuck in the body, and it gets to be this obvious strip. The anxiety of the thoughts and the emotions is felt in the body. The body senses these sensations, your heart, your lungs, your abdomen, your gut sends this information to your brain. And this is some of the beautiful studies that have been done in the last 15 years or so about how important is the rest of the body for the state of our mind. It's not that the brain is going to figure things out, and then once we figure them out, we can solve it. It's more like, okay, we need to work with the whole organism, with the guts and the lungs, with the breath, with the heart, with the intention of relinquishing, of inviting. And that is sent to the brain through the vagus nerve. 80% of what decides our inner state comes from the rest of the body to the brain, and then 20% comes back from the brain down, which sends just more of whatever it receives. So be aware, be careful. What are you cultivating? Whatever you cultivate, that's going to grow. Neurons that fire together bind together, and so we are creating this grooves and towards negativity or towards positivity. And when the rain comes, when the challenges come, it goes into whichever groove you have cultivated more. And so with these practices, we are doing a concerted effort on letting go of where we are stuck and registering in our body other states of peace. And the letting go of the old, taking in the new is a really easy practice. You can do anytime, as you walk, as you are waiting for a friend, when you're sitting, when you're laying down. It's really, really wonderful. And so that comes from Qigong and from Taoism. And then from yoga, a very balancing practice is the Nadi Shodhana. So nadis are the passages of energy in our body. In the Chinese tradition, we talk mainly about meridians, rivers of energy, and they talk about 12 main ones and 24 other ones. But in yoga, they talk about 72,000 nadis, or subtle passages of energy. Same understanding. Whatever we think or feel gets immediately embedded, registered in our body. So how do we clean those passages of subtle energy? How do we let go of this contraction that comes when we are fearful, when we are feeling pain, when we are depressed, angry? So one way of cleansing all that is this alternate breathing, and there are two forms of it. So I want to practice with you both of them. You will find that they are also very good to help you not only feel more balanced, because they stimulate both sides of the brain, the more logical and the more creative one, but also they might help you to sleep. And I know many people are experiencing some problems with sleep since the beginning of the pandemic and other problems. So the first, the more traditional Nadi Shodhana, the cleansing of the passages, it's done with a mudra, this hand gesture, Vishnu mudra. Vishnu is one of the three deities of the creation: Brahma, the creator; Vishnu, the protector and preserver; and Shiva, the destroyer, which is all part of the same cycle, because sometimes some things need to be destroyed so that new ones are created. In every emergency, new forms emerge, and that we know from biology and we know from sociology, although it's slow. And we also know it if we pay attention to the processes in our life. So in any case, how do we cleanse these passages? And we start with this Vishnu mudra. If it's comfortable for you, you can bring your index and middle finger down, and then you'll be able to use your thumb and your index finger to alternately close one nostril and the other as we do this alternate breathing. And if this putting the hands fingers like this is not comfortable, you could bring these two to your third eye, and still you'll be able to use your thumb and your ring finger for these two here. I like to complement this practice with something that comes from Qigong, which is opening the nostrils. These points here, little indentations by the side of the nostrils, are called welcome fragrance. Okay, and so we are going to start one round. We are going to start by closing the right nostril, inhaling through the left to the third eye, closing the left, exhaling through the right, inhaling through the right to the third eye, closing, exhaling through the left. So that's one round. We always start with the left and finish with the left. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, so we are going to do 5 of this, and then we are going to do another variation that some of you might know, but many of you probably don't. And it's really wonderful too. So let's start by having a comfortable position, if you can, with the spine straight, better, so that there is more space for your lungs and heart to be comfortable, and your spine and your whole organism. Okay, and then we bring either the Vishnu mudra like this, or here, if that's easier for you, and we are going to open our nostrils. Feel how you can inhale better like this. Okay, and then close the right nostril. Start inhaling through the left to third eye. Close the left nostril. Exhale from third eye to the right nostril. When the time comes to inhale, inhale through the right. Close the right, open the left. Exhale through the left. This is just one round. Let's do 4 more at your own pace. Inhaling through the left. Keep the attention at Anya chakra, the third eye. Relax into the practice. Notice how they are touches the inner part of your nostrils and goes up and stimulates gently the other side of the brain. Then you exhale to the right. As you inhale through the right, notice they are touching the inner side of the nostrils and stimulating the left side of the brain. And then eventually exhaling through the left. Let's do just one more whole round at your own pace. In the nostrils a little bit, completing the round, lowering the hand. Just noticing for a moment the calmness that comes from this practice. So this is a practice that it's very powerful, it's fundamental in yoga, classical yoga, and that I very much recommend that you practice every day if you can, before going to sleep, maybe when you just wake up. And once you get to know it a little bit, then you could try this other one. I know it's going to sound a little bit surprising, but believe me, it can be done, and it just takes a little practice. We are going to do the same practice, but without the fingers, okay? And it's called Anuloma Viloma, or psychic alternate breathing, in the sense that you are going to be bringing your attention and intention to one nostril and inhaling and exhaling through that, let's say the left first. And you don't worry if there is some other air that's coming through the right, but you are training your attention and your focus without forcing, more like children that are exploring something different, something new. See if you can bring your attention to inhale and exhale through the left. We are going to try several of those. From the left to the very top here and back. And then we are going to try with the right, just from the right up and down several times. And then eventually we are going to inhale through the left, exhale through the right, inhale through the right, exhale through the left. And always having this sense of like an inverted V shape. That's the juncture is here at the third eye, and the other two ends of the V are at the nostrils. So, and once in a while, when we are doing this next practice, we will at some points inhale through the two nostrils to the third eye and then exhale through both of them. And that's a part that comes also with this. Okay, so let's try it. Just don't worry. Just think, oh, this seems strange, but let's try it. See how you feel. Okay, it's really, really wonderful, because once you start, it's mesmerizing. Once you start kind of noticing, okay, can I inhale that way? Okay, so if you want, in the very beginning, you can even just very slightly touch the other nostril so that you feel more the passage of it. But eventually you want to bring your finger away and just, do it without any kind of other blocking, okay? So let's try. We are going to probably lower our gaze or close our eyes. And if you feel you need it, just very gently, we are not closing the nostril, but just very gently barely touching the right one, and seeing if you can inhale through the left to third eye and exhale through third eye to the left again. So just going up and down. And don't worry if some little air might seep in the right. You're mainly just training your attention to look at the left to third eye and come down. Exhale through the left. Relaxing your shoulders, face, neck. Just two more. The left nostril, breathing through the left nostril is considered cooling. So you can have the image of the moon, if you like, shining at night, and this sense of a cool air coming up to third eye and then down. Okay, and now let's try with the right nostril. Again, you can barely touch the left if you want, just to have some idea of how it is to concentrate on the right. From right nostril up to third eye and then down. And move your finger away a little bit, but keep concentrating on inhaling through the through the right nostril up to the third eye and back. And smile like if we were children playing this new game. And I sense it a little bit more on the right, sorry. We are practicing the right now. Okay. So now we are going to inhale through the two nostrils to the third eye and exhale. And we are going to start doing the inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right, inhaling through the right, exhaling through the left, with this psychic alternate breathing. We're going to do 5 of those, and then we are going to use it in what I want you to use if you cannot sleep at night. So let's try it. We are just, it's very relaxed, and don't worry if you feel, well, I don't know if I'm doing it all right. Yes, you are doing it all right because you are bringing your mind, your attention to trying it. That's all. It's not about, can I 100% just breathe through one nostril? It's about, can I concentrate on breathing in one nostril and disengage about what happens with the other one? Okay, so let's try. And then you will get to the practice for the night, which is incredible. So it's very wonderful. Okay. Inhaling through the left up to the third eye and exhaling from the third eye to the right nostril. When the time comes to inhale, inhaling through the right nostril up to third eye. Exhaling through the left one. And that was one round. Let's do 4 more of this one, of this kind of breathing. Go slow, we are not going anywhere, just concentrating on inhaling through each nostril alternately. And exhale through the other. Be patient. Be curious. Two more. Relaxing your shoulders, neck, face. Last one. And for a moment, coming back to your regular breathing. Just noticing any sensations. Inviting your body to relax. Again, we are going to inhale through both nostrils up to third eye, like that inverted V shape. And exhale from the top of the V at the third eye to the two nostrils. Now we are going to come to this practice that I want you to practice whenever you like. You can practice it sitting. You can also practice it laying down. And because it's so subtle and it requires like a playful concentration, it's absolutely wonderful to practice at night before you go to sleep. And the practice is like this. You are going to be practicing this, and we're going to practice together. And you're going to count backwards from 100 back. And of course, we don't ever get to 1 or even to 10 or even to 50 or even to 60. But we start with inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right, inhaling through the right, exhaling through the left, and counting 99. That's one round. Inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right, inhaling through the right, exhaling through the left, 98. And then so on, 97, 96. When you get to 95, you do inhaling through the two nostrils and exhaling through nostrils. So every multiple of 5 is this other interruption of inhaling through the two nostrils and exhaling through the two. And if at any point you lose count, you start again from 98, 97, 96. And you don't judge, because it's not about how far do you go in the counting, but how many times can you bring yourself to the beginning again and the relaxation. And it's amazing. I mean, it's really amazing. So I invite you, we're going to try maybe 10, so 98, 97, 95, etc. At some point I'm going to be silent and you continue counting. And if while you are doing that you lose count, then in your own silence, you go back to 99, 98, 97. If you get lost again 90, but it's just, it is very wonderful for several things. One is that you are training your attention and intention to go where you want. The other is that it's so subtle and so embodied that the mind doesn't have any space to think about what what I do have to do tomorrow, what this person said or didn't say or whatever. It's just totally on the embodiment and on the breath. And the breath is such a really powerful tool to relax. And because it's so subtle and so engaging, it's also very relaxing, and it's very possible that you will fall asleep. And if you wake up in the middle of the night, don't count sheep, count backward breathing with the alternate breathing. So let's try it. I wanted to share this with you. It's a little bit of a more advanced practice than the Nadi Shodhana, but it doesn't have contraindications. Of course, always do things in a very relaxed way and keep observing how you feel. And if for whatever reason you don't feel right with anything, just stop for a while and go back to your natural breathing. But it doesn't have contraindications really. So, okay, you want to try it? Okay, so let's try it. We are going to do it sitting if you prefer, or you can try it laying down and we'll wake you up tomorrow for the next session. No, I'm also planning to show you some other movements, but let's do this breathing now. So Anuloma Viloma, or psychic alternate breathing. Psychic in the sense that it brings your attention and intention to a more subtle movement within you of the air. And it's very, very important that you keep relaxed, that you keep, like if you are a child playing, it's really like a play. There is no investment on, oh, I need to get to 90 or anything like that. No, it's just about, okay, let me see how this goes. Okay, so let's start with this inhaling through the two nostrils to the third eye and exhaling from there down. And now we are going to go to the alternate breathing without the hands. And one round is inhaling from the left, exhaling from the right, inhaling in the right, exhaling in the left. That's one round. Then we are going to start counting that first round like 99 and then go to 98, etc. So we start inhaling through the left, mainly bringing the attention to taking the air through the left to the third eye and exhaling through the right. When the time comes to inhale again, inhaling through the right, to the third eye, exhaling through the left. And that's 99. We're going to go to the next round, inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right, and a smile to rejoice on this experiment we are doing together. Inhaling through the left, through the right, sorry. Exhaling through the left. That was 99, 98. Now the next one is 97, inhaling through the left. Exhaling through the right. Don't worry how much air is moving or anything like that. Inhaling through the right. Exhaling through the left. And that was 97. Now you continue. Remember, when you get to 95, every multiple of 5 is going to be inhaling through the 2 nostrils to the 3rd eye. Exhaling from that V shape to the end of the nostrils. And now continuing 94, inhaling through the left. Exhaling through the right. Inhaling through the right. Exhaling through the left. And then comes 93, and let's see if we can get to 90, or if not, just go back. But the next one will be 93, inhaling through the left. You continue. If you get to 90, another multiple of 5, you are going to inhale that number 90 through the 2 nostrils up to the 3rd eye, and exhaling down. And then go to 89, inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right, etc. If you lost count somewhere there, then you are back to 99, 98, 97, but it's exactly the same procedure. So let's just 3 or 4 more of wherever you are. Always inviting the body to relax. Bringing the attention to the 3rd eye, gently. bringing your practice to a close. Just observing how you're feeling and congratulating yourself for having tried this, and observing also how it was for you. Seeing if you can develop that compassion of it doesn't matter really how far one goes in the practice. The important thing is one commits to the practice, and that's the secret. To do the practice without expectations, just do it because it's a good way of learning to get a hold of our mind and of our attention and intention. And that brings resilience. Resilience is to know that the suffering, whatever challenges are going to be there, but that we can always work with our mind and bring some kind of calmness to that mind, some kind of compassion and acceptance of what is. And so this is another calming practice that's tied to, on the one hand, resilience, and on the other hand, inner guidance, in the sense of they are the same mechanisms. When we have the monkey mind that's jumping to the past, to the future, with regrets, with concerns, with reactivity, the amygdala, which is a small part in the center of the brain that has the shape of an almond, and which is the one that's directly related to emotions, strong emotions, hijacks the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of our brain that has to do with our rational and our intuitive also ways of finding solutions, more greater understanding in a way. Quite a bit comes from the cortex, prefrontal cortex. Also some comes from the heart and the resonance of the two, but that's another whole analysis that we can do another day. But in any case, doing this practice of calming the body, calming the mind, and training the attention to where we want to take it in gentle ways, that also helps to relax the whole organism. It's just beautiful. We've seen the polyvagal theory, which is really important studies about the vagus nerve and how that helps with the relaxation response. It's understood that tension at the level of our heart and this area about relationships and all that we feel under threat, we go into fight, flight, or sometimes when we feel so much under threat that we feel that we are in danger of death or anything like that, we perceive it and experience as it brings us into immobilization. And that this has to do with our ancestors and our biological evolving of reacting more like a reptilian that freezes to try to protect itself, but it doesn't really protect itself, it just freezes. And like the mammalian ancestors that go more into fight flight when they feel under threat. The higher up we go, like here, it's more like a sense of communication and peace and light, which we want to try to embody. So the alternate breathing also is very good to work with this area of the third eye, either Nadi Shodhana or Anuloma Viloma, and that has a lot to do also with connections to the vagus nerve and the sense of relaxation and safety and opening up to communication. So I hope that either because you know yoga and you're coming to it from classical yoga, or because you're interested in science and just the amazing studies that keep coming to us about how to work with the different centers of energy in our body, which is already discovered for thousands of years in classical yoga and in Qigong. I hope that you then use these practices, and by practicing every day, you will not only befriend your nervous system, but you will contribute to actually shape your brain in the sense of having more tendency towards the positive, less tendency to close up in fear. So let's also do a few movements that can help us to experience some of this letting go of what is burdening us, of where we are stuck. Okay? Good. So if you have been sitting, maybe with your legs crossed or whatever, let's first take care of our legs. I like to always rub my hands, and with these healing hands that are recognized in both classical yoga and Qigong, give a massage to my kneecaps. And so partly using the center of the palms with the touching there, and partly using the tips of the fingers, almost like as a massage. There are some important points, both on the sides of the knee, under the kneecap, and above the kneecap. So this is really great. Also for meditators who perhaps are sitting for a long time, it's good to help your knees. And another very good massage for the knees is bringing the healing hands both sides of the knees and down. And the traditional number is 32 times. 16 and 16, 32. Okay, so that will help your knees, kneecaps, and help the rest of your leg. And also when you're massaging like this, because your stomach meridian goes on this side of the leg, you are also helping a little bit with your digestion. And I like to do this kind of massage also at night before I go to sleep, as a way of helping to protect the kneecaps, but also help with the stomach meridian here. And of course, I do it also at night. If I wake up and I sit to meditate afterwards, I massage my kneecaps and both ways, and then lay down and have another little deeper relaxation moment. Okay, let's go now for the movements. Well, let me show it first sitting, because one of our friends is going to be sitting when she looks at this. Okay, so one of the movements that I want to share with you and to practice together is this wonderful move that comes from Qigong, and it's like this. We cross the hands and arms, and it's almost like if we are going to be taking a shirt off, so the hands go up like this, and the elbows go up, and they go up higher than the head, and they are going to stretch up to the clouds, really up there where those clouds that were not allowing us to see the sun, and then we are pushing the clouds, separating the clouds. As we bring the hands and arms down, it's very relaxing. Every time you bring hands up and down, there is lowering of your blood pressure. Also, as we go up, I want us to lead at some point with this point here, which is spirit heaven, spirit gate here. So you have your hand, and then there is here like a little cartilage, and then inside there is a little indentation. So we are having the hands like this, and then we are leading with spirit gate and spirit gate up to touch those clouds that were covering the sun, and then parting the clouds, separating the clouds. And again, up with the elbows go above the head, and we keep stretching up. And then slowly lowering the hands and arms, feeling the progressive relaxation of your shoulders, your neck, your face, and separating those clouds. So that's the first one. And let's go for it. Find a place where you can stand and stretch without bumping against anything. And we stand like we usually do, with our feet shoulder width apart, body straight and relaxed, finding the support that the earth offers to us by raising and lowering our toes and moving a little bit forward and backward to feel the whole contact of the soles of the feet with the ground. And finding this inner alignment, head as a sphere perfectly balanced on top of the spheres of the chest, and both of those spheres balanced on top of the sphere of the abdomen, and an unbroken column of energy running right through the center of the three spheres, so that we are aligned and relaxed. Great. And then separating clouds is crossing our hands and then bringing them up, with the elbows above the head, and then leading with the spirit gate, these 2 points here, separating the clouds. Feeling that the sunlight, the moonlight is bathing you, relaxing. So to let go of where we are stuck, we inhale, stretch up, separate the clouds. And open up to inspiration. 3 more times. You bring your intention of what you are working with in this workshop, in this session. What are the clouds that you're separating? What is the light that you're inviting? Experiencing at this moment of peace. 2 more. Again, this is a simple movement. You can do it at home. You can do it as you are walking around in your neighborhood, in nature. I have a friend here that loves to do it when she goes on her walks. Opening, I also love to do it when I go in my walks, up a hill, down the hill. Okay, beautiful movement. Another beautiful movement to experience this. The challenges come, but we found grounding, is one called tides and waves. Waves are rolling, tides are coming up and leaving, and it also comes from Qigong. And like always, we stand with the feet shoulder width apart, body straight and relaxed. In this one, as the arms go up, the knees are going to go down a little bit, not very deep, but just a little bit. And when the hands go down, the knees come up. You straighten the knees a little bit and feel the elongation up. So it's like inhaling. As we see the weight coming, we go down to find grounding, and the wave passes and we stretch up and let everything settle. And as we see the tide coming up, which is going to come up from a vortex here, the tide coming up, the knees go down a little bit, finding extra grounding. And when the tides recede, there is this stretching up. Okay, so the movement has the two parts: the waves coming in, the knees go up as the hands come up, and then the hands go down, the knees stretch up, and you take the opportunity to stretch your spine up. And that's followed by tides are coming up, knees go a little bit down, and the thighs are receding, and we stretch up. At the same time that the thighs are just relinquishing their charge. Okay, so waves and tides, and the fact that we know that there will be these ups and downs, that life is impermanent, but that we can ride the waves and the tides, because we are not the wave, we are not the tide, we are the ocean. And so those movements are movements that happen within life, within our interconnections and different circumstances, but we have this sense of security, of inner grounding, because we know that we are the ocean and that the rest is just movement that happens and is part of life, and that we are always finding our inner grounding, inner depth. Okay, so let's try waves and tides, finding grounding, our standing, our inner alignment, and ready to begin. Inhaling, arms up, knees down, and now the hands go down and the body straightens up as the waves roll down. And then the thighs are coming up, knees go down a little bit, and as the thighs recede, we stretch up and find the grounding. And all the time we are the ocean. So, okay, tide's coming. It's okay. I have the depth to work with this. Tides are coming up. It's okay. I have the depth to work with this. Come and pass. Inhaling the fears, the concerns. Okay. Tides are rolling in. It's okay. Let's do 3 more of these 2 at your own pace, with your own content, whatever you are working in this session. The aliveness is in the stillness. And finally, we were talking this morning about how the challenges are like the mud, the earth, the wet earth that is necessary for the lotus to be able to grow and to bloom. If everything was just marble, it was just no problems, nothing, there wouldn't be the inspiration and motivation and stimulus to keep working with that, which is a challenge to keep developing more consciousness, unfolding this consciousness that we are. We are just embodied spirit, and life, the life that we have been given, is an opportunity to keep unfolding our consciousness. We're part of the big consciousness, the big journey. We have each one of our smaller journeys, and how to keep unfolding that consciousness, how to keep bringing that lotus up is through the mud of the challenges. And that's a beautiful expression that Thich Nhat Hanh has. He says, no mud, no lotus. Well, in Qigong tradition, thousands of years old, probably he knows about or used to know about this, or maybe it's just another intuition, that came together. But in Qigong, there is a form that's called the lotus rises and shares its beauty, rises above the water and shares its beauty. And it goes like this. So again, from the lotus, from the mud of our challenges, rises this call to greater understanding and compassion that is the lotus in our heart. And we nourish it with our attention and intention, with self-acceptance. Eventually, it breaks through all these different layers and it blooms. And when it blooms, is to share its beauty with everyone and everything around, because it's never just for us. This journey is always to also bring it in our interrelations, and because we are one spirit. We think that we are different beings because we have this bag of skin, but we are a spirit, and spirit has no boundaries, the same as space. So let's practice the lotus rises above the water, and I hope you can connect it with whatever you are working with. So we stand like always, feet shoulder width apart, body straight and relaxed, feeling the support that the earth gives us, and also the inner alignment. And the hands are just hanging by the side of the body. We are going to inhale, the hands float up to the height of the shoulders. Then we are bringing the hands together towards our heart, and breathe, remembering our struggles and our call towards the light, to greater understanding, to greater compassion. We receive that nourishment that comes from the call to the light and our own practices. As we breathe gently into our heart, into our sea of tranquility point. And eventually, from the practices, the lotus comes up. We are inhaling and raising our chin, and the lotus coming up as we inhale, and it shares its beauty with everyone. We're going to practice it 5 times. Be silent. most of the time. Inhaling, resting in our heart and lungs, receiving the nourishment that we're inviting in our life. To help us with our struggles. We're receiving that nourishment, and at some point, the lotus comes on the surface of the water as we inhale and raise our chin, and we share the beauty with everyone else. 3 more times. Accepting and recognizing our struggles. And healing and transforming everything. Compassion for ourselves and others. Receive the nourishment. Practicing, not only for ourselves, but also because we are all interconnected. Then bringing the hands to the heart again. Sense this healing, this peace. And we are going to send this experience of healing and peace to someone else. It's within us and it multiplies within us, and we send it to someone who we know is struggling right now, so that she or him, wherever they are, receive a sense of peace, of releasing of their burden. We send it with love, with a smile. In the healing and the peace within ourselves, breathing it in and also radiating it out. imagine that the person feels her burden or his burden a bit lifted. So we also send this peace to everyone who has been practicing with us today. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope you remember any of the practices, and whatever resonated with you, just practice that. Maybe it will be different things at different moments, but this is the way that we are working to shape our nervous system, our brain, our heart, towards getting unstuck, and also to realize that we are all interconnected and that the pain is not just our own separate pain, that we are alone and struggling, but that's part of what everyone is also receiving within this gift of life. So hope you can practice, and thank you so much for coming today and practicing here.